Alright, so I've got this little pumpkin mold here. And what I wanted to do, I kind of had an idea of making a pumpkin and being able to put this little LED tea light in it. So now, in order to do that, this is obviously a solid mold, as in if I just fill it with resin, it's just going to be a solid chunk of resin. So I need to figure out a way to have like a hole in there where the tea light will fit in there. So instead of making this one big solid piece and then wasting a bunch of resin by drilling a big hole in it, I actually had a better idea. So this mold here is like a kind of like a pencil cup mold. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this inside out like so and have this in here sitting at the right depth. Now luckily this is the perfect diameter for the tea light, so that's great. So then the next problem would be, of course, this is probably going to float in the resin once I get the resin in here. So I'm just going to drop this bottle of glitter in there to weigh it down. Hopefully that'll be enough weight. If not, I can throw some other odds and ends in there, or maybe just something heavier. And then the second problem is I don't want this to go all the way down to where it's touching the bottom of this mold. So what I've done is I cut this little paper cup to the right length, and that's just going to sit right on there, and it's just going to sit right on top of the pumpkin. So I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have the weight in there, and obviously I'm going to pour the resin in there first. Hopefully I can calculate correctly just how much resin this is going to displace. I already know this whole thing takes 95 milliliters of resin, but I'm going to need to account for the amount of space that this displaces. So I'm going to need to subtract a little bit. And the way I'm going to do that, I think, is I'm going to fill the interior of this up to the depth that the hole is going to be. I'm going to fill it up with with water. And then I'm going to measure out how much water that is. And then I'm going to add, because of the thickness of this, I'm going to add probably 5 milliliters. And then take that total number and subtract it from the 95 milliliters that fits into here. Hopefully my math will be correct, because I don't want to not have enough resin. As a matter of fact, I may go 10 milliliters over, because I'd rather have too much than not enough. Because I mean, I can always pour the excess into some random little mold or whatever. I've got some leaf molds, maybe I can do that. Since I'll be using orange for the pumpkin, I can just pour the excess into a leaf mold or something. But anyway, let's get started. So the pumpkin's all cured up, looking pretty good. As you can see, it's got the little cavity in there for the Tealight to fit in. And I poured this a little short. Actually, I didn't pour it a little short. What happened was when I put the silicone thing in there, it displaced a little too much of the resin, and so it kind of overflowed. And so I took some resin out, but then there wasn't enough. So I put a little more of the resin back in, and then it just got to the point where it filled up to right about there, probably about 2 millimeters shy of all the way. And I said, you know what? I don't want this to be a hassle. That should be deep enough. So I just left it at that. And I was right. It's actually the perfect height. So the Tealight fits in there perfect. So turn this on. And looks pretty good. Try it in the dark here. That's a little bright on camera in the dark, but looks really good in real life. So yeah, you probably saw on the video I kind of struggled to get the amount of resin right, but luckily I got it to a point where it was good enough, and everything turned out good. So anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.